Good stuff.
How's everybody doing?
All
Good.
right. Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our March 2024 District 40 podcast. My name is Althea. Yes, great, wonderful, wonderful. All right. Hold on one second. We got some feedback here in the background here. Hold on. What's happening here? Can anyone else hear the feedback in the background?
No.
Nope.
No.
Sounds good
Okay,
out
cool. It might just be on my end, you guys. It's okay. I'm hearing voices. But nonetheless, we're here.
here. All
Happy
right.
March, everyone.
It'll be that kind
How's
of
everybody
night.
doing today? How's everyone doing today?
Been a wonderful day. Busy, but
Yes,
wonderful.
busy but wonderful. Yes,
Coming
I
indeed.
agree.
The
down
rain.
from the sunny confines of Dublin, Ohio up here. The sun's trying to come out.
Is it? Because it's cloudy
Yeah.
over here in Hilliard.
Well, we still got some sun down here in Cincinnati.
Man, send it up our way, you
A little
guys.
bit.
Please, we need it up here.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed, you guys. We are in the month of March. I cannot believe we're already through the first quarter of 2024. I promise you, New Year's was 2 days ago.
Pay your dues.
Time
Time to
flies
pay
when you're having
dues.
Yes,
fun.
yes, time is definitely flying. I'm ready for the warmth and also our conference, which we'll talk about that later on this episode. That's coming up next month.
Oh,
Yes.
great.
Yeah.
Yay, yay. Well, of course, my friends, we start off every podcast with the mission statement. And our mission reads is that we are a podcast with a mission to educate and to entertain our listeners and viewers by providing a positive and supportive experience to help our listeners and viewers develop stronger communication and leadership skills. That's why we're here. And also, I'd love to introduce the word of the day. And the word of the day is Blarney, Barney, Blarney. And the definition of that word is false but charming talk that often flatters the listener. So, yes. So,
Interesting.
your task today, I know, your task today is to try to incorporate the word of the day in our dialogue today. So, what we'll do now is we'll transition over to our interview portion where we get to highlight the movers and shakers in our district. I'll turn things over to Bertina to introduce our special guest.
All right. Well, thank you, Althea. And hello, everyone. Today, our guest is going to be Matthew Schoenbarger. Matt joined Toastmasters in 2013 after his mentor suggested that he attend the club meeting. He stated that he wasn't going to attend the meeting, but now thankful that he followed his mentor's advice. Matt is a member of the Toastmasters OSU club in Columbus, Ohio. Throughout his membership, Toastmaster Sean Barger served as area director, group growth slash club coach chair, and currently serves as the D40 store manager, logistics manager, and club growth PR liaison. Wow, he is a busy man. Okay.
Yes,
Matt
indeed.
attributes his boost in confidence and proficiency as a speaker to Toastmasters. He also shared Toastmasters has unlocked my leadership abilities. It
Mhm.
is a lifelong journey. What a
Mhm.
quote! What a quote. And if we can, come on, let's welcome Matt to our stage here. Matt, it is so wonderful to meet you. And tonight, we all have a few questions, but I'm going to ask you a few right before. And one of my questions was, what is your favorite leadership or communication quote and why?
Wow, what a great question to start off. Leadership or communication quote. I would probably have to pivot to Sharpen the Saw book with Stephen Covey. And there's two attributes of leadership that I think you could have a Harvard education, go through all the leadership track, but I think the two things that stand out for me for leadership is unbridled curiosity and empathy. If you have those two things and willing to do those two things, I think you'll unlock the leadership capability in yourself. It doesn't matter how educated you are, as long as you have that curiosity to question and get to know people with empathy. Those two key attributes for a leadership will unlock any leadership capability. And it did for me in Toastmasters as well. So that would be my segue into leadership.
Wow, what a wonderful, powerful statement. Questioning, having empathy. Because you're so right. As long as we are questioning, we're able to gain knowledge, no matter what level we are on. That is so powerful. I really enjoy that. And my next, I want to say first that you are a busy man within Toastmasters. You wear so many hats. You've done so many things. And so, what I'd like to hear about is your role as the logistics manager. Can you tell us what
Sure.
that's all about?
Sure. Well, it's kind of like if you, from the generation of Rubik's Cube, where you have all these missing pieces and you can never get to the whole orange or black in one side of it. So usually I just get frustrated and throw that little gadget away. But no,
Sorry.
logistics manager is helping out different district leaders, finding a place, a venue of a meeting, setting up sometimes maybe a Zoom channel. That's the small gist of it. When a club comes to me or a district leader and says, Matt, I need these things from Toastmasters International, write me up an invoice, or do we have it in inventory? And I have a Google Share Drive with a bunch of inventory that I keep track of, because before I started the role, it was paper and I had to go downtown and check a box, and I don't like paper and pen. I'm from that generation, unfortunately, but I like it on a Google Share Drive. So if I hand that role off to somebody else, it's very transparent. They know what they're getting into. So if somebody says, Matt, how many pens do we have in our District 40 store? I could say, give me a second, boom, 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 150, and it's $3 a pop, or how much we're going to charge that particular club. So that's what the logistics manager for District 40. And I also help out with the credentials and the voting. But we'll have in our District 40 conference here coming up in another month. So that's in a nutshell what that logistics manager role, and you can expand and subtract on your responsibilities and oversee that District 40 inventory on a regular basis.
Wow, how interesting. And what made you want to choose that role?
Well, I wanted to be more of a visible leader in District 40, but also mentor clubs and logistics. To me, I'm always kind of in my path and career path, a spreadsheet. Not, I won't say like Michael Pope, like AI, or an actuarial like our District 40 leaders, but I wanted to take on the challenge of creating a spreadsheet. I'm a Nova spreadsheet, but I wanted to be more organized and help the district out in that role, and really getting a grasp of what we have in inventory to help out, so we're not front loading like 200,000 pens when we really don't need that. So I always wanted to, never been a warehouse manager, so it's all volunteer. So I wanted to embark on that journey about 1.5 years ago, and here I am today in that role.
Well, that is great. I hear you are doing a wonderful, wonderful job. And at
Thank you.
this point, thank you for your service, because you have done a lot and we are learning a lot from you. And next, what I'd like to do is pass it off to our next post. And since you mentioned Michael, we're going to move straight to Michael and let him take over.
All right. I'm good.
Matt, so great to have you on our show today.
Thank
So
you.
I loved your answers. So I just want to pick it back on leadership a little bit. So obviously you've served in a lot of leadership roles, area director, club coach chair,
Mhm.
now logistics manager. So what has been some of the most valuable lessons you've learned in terms of leadership while you've been in Toastmasters?
I think the area director role for me 5 years ago, when we were forced to be in person, to get to know the different clubs and their culture was an eye-opening experience for me. And it's not a passive role. To do the area director role the right way, in my opinion, you're helping the club with the district and helping with roles and serving. It's the ultimate servant leader role I think you could ever take in a Toastmaster function. I know it's required to get to a DTM, and some people check that box, but to do that right, to serve and be that leader, that area director, is such a crucial thing, to have that liaison from the district to the club level. And I always loved going into those meetings, and I always try to surprise them. I don't like to say, I'll be there on September 24th, and yeah, I'm going to audit you. And that creates a lot of anxiety for a lot of clubs. So
Right.
I know their website. I would just show up and say, hey, I'm just here to help out. And I'm not much of an announcement guy. So I'm here to help out your club in any way I can. And maybe a few announcements on TLI, and to have those officers understand why it's so important to attend the TLI and be a participant in club contests. So to answer your question, Mike, I think the ultimate leadership piece that I've learned the most from is that 1 year of an area director. And if you serve as an area director, that first year is like a fire hose approach. They train you, you learn on the fly. I would like to do it again at some point, because the second time around, maybe I'll do a little bit better job and you know what you're doing. But it's a wonderful opportunity in that area director role, and again, it's the ultimate servant leadership function I think in Toastmasters you could do.
Absolutely. Don't say that too loud, because trust me, they can find an area director position for you next year.
Yes,
Yeah, right.
for sure.
There's no shortage of those.
Right.
So Matt, obviously, you've been in Toastmasters for a while, and it's described as a lifelong journey. So what continues to motivate and inspire you to stay involved in Toastmasters?
It's just the people in District 40. I'm a neurodiverse individual, so I have ADHD, but I've connected with so many people in District 40 and beyond, that not to label people, but autism, ADHD, visual impairment. It's a wonderful networking of like-minded individuals. Yeah, you could fall back on communication and leadership track, but it's the ultimate people experience that keep you coming back every year. And you're a DTM. Nobody could reach that DTM level alone. Yeah, you could do your speeches alone, but to do your projects, you need help. To do even your podcast, you need help. So it's the wonderful networking of people that are like-minded. And like I said, I'm neurodiverse. So to even deeper level, connect on an empathy level with those individuals in Toastmasters, it just keeps me coming back every year.
Awesome. Love those answers. I'll pass it over to Scott.
Hey, Matt. I
Hey,
don't think
Scott.
we've met before. It's nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
Thanks for joining us tonight.
Absolutely.
We've talked a lot about leadership so far, but one of the questions that I always like to know for leaders and Toastmasters is, what was your most challenging leadership role that you have been in? And then also, what was your most rewarding leadership position that you served in Toastmasters?
Wow, great question. I would say probably the most challenging leadership position is when I was a first-time club president of a club that was thriving, and then all of a sudden we went down below 9 to 8 members, and that's uncomfortable, especially as a new president, to try to, in that different environment, engage those individuals and create more membership drives and explain why you need to have open houses. So that first time president role, it was maybe 4 or 5 years into my tenureship in Toastmasters. Yeah, you can be trained. Yeah, you have mentors, which are great, but to experience that, and I look back on that experience, yeah, it was difficult that first year. We didn't achieve or distinguish goals that we needed to do so, but how you grow from within, when I hate to use the term failing, but failing is the ultimate growth in Toastmasters, and to reflect back on that experience as a club president and to do it again many years later, that's how you learn. So that would be the most challenging, is the individual club president of a struggling club. But the most rewarding, though, I would say, is stepping in that club coach chair a couple of years ago, when you create surveys and you build your network with people and you have strong club coaches to really help those clubs. And it takes a while sometimes. It takes 2 years and beyond, and they hand that off to another person to have that growth. And you see that club that goes from 5 membership to maybe 20, and it takes time, is a very, and I know it's numbers and metrics, but it's a very rewarding experience to have that within Toastmasters.
Awesome. Thank you for your transparency there and your answers.
Welcome.
Let's switch gears. We've talked so much about leadership. Let's talk about speeches.
Okay.
What the reason that most people get involved in Toastmasters originally. Tell us about your favorite speech or presentation that you've given in Toastmasters, and why that experience was so rewarding for you.
Excellent question. It's probably my most recent speech, and that was my journey to a DTM. I'll have my DTM in June, so I have finish up a project, and then I'll finish up club mentorship of a club in a couple months. So have I reached the journey? Maybe, but it was allegorical speech where, if you can imagine a tree at the bottom of the Grand Canyon, and somebody drops you off in a helicopter blindfolded, and you got to find that DTM medal on your own, but you have mentors and you have people. But the part of that speech, that it's a 10-minute speech, so I don't have time to give it now, but part of that speech, and you learn in Toastmasters, is empathy. And one of the modules and pathways is listen to understand. You can't get to a DTM, in my opinion, without having, and that we talked about this in leadership, with empathy and the ultimate end goal, and what drives that DTM forward. And it's all the people that help you out in that journey to a DTM. So that was probably my most reflective, and took me a while to formulate that speech, but it was the empathy and the people part of it to really grab hold and also enhance my communication skills in the time I've been in Toastmasters.
That's great. That's a great metaphor there. I'm going to turn it over to Althea.
All right, Matt, listen. Bertina read your bio, and like we've all mentioned, you have taken the leadership component of Toastmasters and ran with it. And it's inspiring, because I've done the same thing too. And it just took someone to see a talent or a skill that maybe I was trying to hide, or maybe it needed to develop. And they provide you an opportunity to step into that role and to develop that skill. So I appreciate you stepping up and serving in these various leadership roles. And hopefully your service can inspire others to step up as well. But I want to talk with you about one of your roles currently that you're in. You're on the club growth team.
Yep.
And one of your tasks is that you are the club growth PR liaison. And you are also, let me get this right, the club coach chair. Well, you were a club coach chair previously.
A couple of years
So
ago.
so we are now in renewal season, right? So I'm curious for you to share with our listening audience and our viewers all of the great work that has happened within the club growth team, and share with the viewers what are our, I guess, driving force to get people to renew their membership by March 31st.
Okay. Well, great question. Last year or so, I've been the PR guy of the club growth team. So I created newsletters, and with help with Johnny and other people, I'm one of 10 or 11, and Althea, I know you're on the team as well. So I'm the creative, I guess, juice, if you will, to try to drive those newsletters forward, build awareness of why we need to have early renewals, especially last term in July when the price went up from 45 to 60. Some people, that's a big difference in a jump, especially since some of us are dual members of 5 clubs or 2 or whatever. So that does add up. So we wanted to create awareness surrounding that. And I created storyboards, and I know we got Talk Up Toastmasters currently, and the Beat the Clock to finish out, and it's hard to believe we're already 3/4 of the calendar year away, but it's so important to renew your membership. Yeah, $60 is a price, and I did wear my money tie, and I wasn't applying 2,000 people in our district to renew. I know we're at 82% renewal, but that's the easiest point you could get for your club by just having your members renew. And I know twice a year we ask for money, $120. Sometimes that might be a little steep for some people, but think of it as an investment in yourself. Some of us have been here a long time. Mike has been here a long time. Scott, myself, we keep coming back. And I said this before, it's for the club culture and the people. And to me, $60 for 6 months renewal is a small price to pay, considering you can have advanced other communication tracks and it's more expensive that way, and have a communication degree. This is the best approach. Invest in yourself for $60. I know we're coming up on that deadline. Don't wait till March 31st at 11:59 p.m. to renew. Please renew now. Invest in yourself. It's a small price to pay, not only for yourself, but for your club and for your district.
That's a great point. When you put it that way, when you think of colleges and universities offering you a degree that may cost you $10, $12, $15,000 a year, you get to pay $120 a year to learn leadership, communication, and networking skills in this international organization. So I think that was a great way to put it. So hopefully people are listening there. So you've shared that leadership to you means curiosity and empathy. I also heard you talk about servant leadership. You talked about community. You talked about failing as a way of learning and networking. Those are all pretty impactful words. So with us having our renewal cycle right now, and there's someone who's currently active in Toastmasters, and they're contemplating renewing their membership. And Matt, you were the person that could be the make or break it for them. Okay, you're the one that could either convince them to stay, or you know what, you've given me permission to walk away from this experience, but we want to keep them. So what inspiring words would you offer this member who's on that fence, teetering about renewing their membership? What would you tell them to inspire them to stay and to continue their journey?
Well, as we all know, Toastmasters is a lifelong journey. It does not matter if you're a DTM 50 times or the first time, or you begin your icebreaker speech and wait 6 months for another speech. It's the brother and sisterhood of District 40, and it's an investment in yourself. And whether your employer pays that or not, or you have to come out of pocket, or your savings account, and at times are tough, I understand that. But think of it as an investment in yourself, and we all need a psychological break. I understand that, but continue your membership in District 40. You're a better person. Every time I go to a TLI, every time I attend a District 40 conference, every time I attend a Michael Pope seminar, I'm a better individual because of it. Whether you don't ask questions or you sit there for 45 minutes and take it all in through osmosis, you're a better individual every time you renew your membership. It does not get stale. It's all about the people and relationships, and you have the mentorship capability in Toastmasters to help you take you where you want to go. If you want to go fast, you can go fast. If you want to take the slow boat, you can take the slow boat. But it's all about the personal development. And $60 for 6 months, when you break that down, is a very small dues and price to pay. So please continue your membership, not only for yourself, but for your club and for District 40.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Yes. Well, Matt, thank you so much for being with us this evening again. Your leadership is impeccable. Your communication is great. I love the money tie. So I hope that money tie was luck and
I had to dust it off, but
I love it. No, but seriously, we do appreciate you coming on and sharing with us your leadership and communication experience within Toastmasters in District 40. And we look forward to seeing more of you within our district. So on behalf of the podcast, we want to thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you for having me. Keep
Thanks,
rocking
Matt.
District 40. Thank you.
See you at the
Look
Yes.
forward
conference.
to
See you
next-
guys.
About 3
Yep,
weeks.
see you next
Look
month.
forward to
Yes.
Yep,
seeing
we'll see you at the end of April. All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Take
All
All right,
care.
guys. Take care.
Yes. All right, friends, you hear
Good.
that we're in renewal cycle, and it's really important for us to continue our journey. Like Matt said, basically you get out of Toastmasters what you put into it. You hold the keys, you're steering the car, you're responsible for the maintenance on the vehicle, putting the gas in the vehicle. It's really your call. And to Matt's point, I've been in Toastmasters for almost 7 years, and it literally took me 6 months before I gave my first icebreaker. It took me 6 months. It took me 6 months to get my first icebreaker. And once I did it, I'm like, why did I wait so long? But the leadership component of Toastmasters is really what sold me as being a member. So again, you get out of Toastmasters what you put into it. I just hope that, this conversation inspires you all to stay in the fight and to help us continue the work in our district and bring more people into the district to help them build on their communication and their leadership. So with that, we will transition into the next portion of our podcast, which will be what we've learned. So this part of the episode is just us sharing with everyone things that we've learned over the last month, or maybe an article that we've read, or a lived experience that we've been. So I'll go ahead and kick things off with that. So I'm not sure if everyone's familiar or know this, but this month, March, is considered Women's History Month. And just want to give you just a brief little history of Women's History Month. So it actually started off as a week back out in California. And the premise of women's history is to celebrate the contributions of women to American history and society. And as the work continued, it went from it being a week to, in 1976, being a month celebration. So I want to kick things over to Bertina because she has some highlights to share in association with Women's History Month. So I'll go ahead and kick things over to you, Bertina.
Well, thank you, Althea. I surely do. I was searching just on the web about 3 weeks ago, right before Women's Month came up, and USA Today has a article that they're Women of the Month, Women of the Year, I should say. And so I chose one of the women, as I had shared with Althea, that I have been posting every day of March a different woman that's in charge that has been chosen as to be one of the women of the year. They've chose one from each state. And so I chose Dr. Melissa Gilman. She is a pediatric genealogist, and she will become Boston University's first female and Black president. And she'll take her office in July. And Dr. Gilman gives her mother credit for offering the best advice she had ever heard. And when I tell you, and I'm quite sure we all have heard this, you can tell anybody anything, it's just how you tell them. And when I read that, I remember my mom and my godmother and them telling me, you can say anything you want to say if you know how to say it correctly. You can tell somebody off and they'll have to question, did she really tell me off? Really? Because it's the way that you deliver. And it is one of our key things that we do in Toastmasters. How we deliver that speech, our tone, our eye contact, our body language, all of that comes into play. And so that's why I chose Miss Melissa Gilbert. I encourage you to go to the USA Today website. And if you put in there Women of the Year of 2024, you will pull up that article. And there are some fantastic women within that article. And that was one of the reasons when I saw what you were talking about. I said, oh, I'm going to piggyback off there and choose one of my women. Well, they're not my women, but.
Yes. No, I'm glad that worked out really well. And it's funny that you said that because I was having a conversation with someone about having like a difficult conversation and having to like deliver, difficult news. And the individual I was having a conversation with was like, I'm a straight shooter. I just speak my mind. I just say it like it is. It's not my responsibility on how the person that's receiving the information receives it. I was like, I kind of beg to differ, right? You can still be direct in your communication with an individual, but you also have to be mindful of the receiver and how they're going to receive the information. It's a delicate skill. And I think might have been last year when we interviewed previous international president Matt Kinsley. He was saying that when it comes to him giving feedback to individuals, he's a straight shooter. So if you're wanting someone to kind of give you the fluff or, kind of skirt around it, then he's not your person. And and for me, it's kind of difficult to fathom giving information to someone in a manner that could be destructive to the person. I'm not saying that's his intention, but I'm just kind of linking back to the conversation I had previously. So I'm curious to hear from you all when it comes to having a difficult conversation or providing feedback to someone. Is there any consideration for how the individual is going to receive the information? Or is it more so communicating it in a way that they can digest the information, they can ponder it, and then maybe act or respond accordingly after the feedback has been given? So I'm just curious to know from you all.
I'll give you my opinion. So so I think it's important if you understand the person's communication style. Like if I know that person is visual and I need to give them some bad news or whatever, then if I can have a visual representation to show them or paint a picture for them, I think it'll help them understand it more and receive it better. And the same as if they're auditory, right? So they just may need to hear it clearly. So I think understanding communication styles can really help you be more effective with delivering the bad news.
Yeah, I agree. What about you, Bertina? Did you have a thought about that too?
I did. I think it's a twofold thing because you can be straightforward and be a no nonsense person, but you have to give it to a person where they will take it and be receptive of it because there's no point in giving it and they shut down. So it's a combination of the two.
Yeah, I agree.
You want to be straightforward, but you also want to give it to them in a way that they're going to be receptive of that.
Yeah. Scott, did you have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, I agree with what Michael was saying, and Bertina for that matter. When I first started thinking about it, I was thinking more along the lines of Bertina, and you have to give it in a way that they're receptive to, or else you're just wasting your time and effort and breath. But then also it really helps if you know the person and what makes them tick. Some people might enjoy a rah-rah, come on, you can do this, and other people might just shut down and be like, whatever, dude. So it's really important to know that communication style, leadership style, whatever makes that person tick, and then hone in on that.
Yeah, I agree. I always think of the platinum rule. You treat others how they want to be treated. Right. So again, that's from building relationships. That's from knowing the individual, knowing your audience, understanding their communication style, how they would want to receive information, and then us being flexible and being able to adjust our communication style. These are all things that we've learned, through Toastmasters and just living life, right? So I'm glad you said that because it kind of brought that conversation back to my memory. And like I said, me and the other individuals on opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to this. But at the end of the day, I think it's most effective if you are able to communicate to someone at a level and in a way that they can receive the information. They know that it's coming from a good place as far as you being the person providing the feedback. And then it allows them an opportunity to think and then respond, right? Not respond and then, oh my gosh, I probably should not have responded that way. But it gives them an opportunity to think, ponder, and then respond accordingly. So thank you again for sharing that. So Scott, what have you learned, sir? What can you share with us?
Well, thank you for the opportunity to share what I've learned this month. And it happened recently, this past weekend, not this past weekend, but the weekend before. I have been holding or hosting a St. Patrick's Day party at my house for years and years and years. This was actually the 21st rendition of it. And So over the years, it's taken on many shapes and sizes and forms. But for the most part, the key group has been coming year after year after year. But this year, it was a little different, and it made me reflect and just think about that. A lot of people think the older you get, the more you're like, I don't need any new friends. I'm good to go. I've got my base that I work with, and I'm comfortable with that. And I just found that the older you get, it's never too late to make new friends. And our St. Patrick's Day party this year just really made me reflect back on that, because we had a wide range of folks there, new friends, old high school friends, college friends, neighbors. It was just a really neat mix that we've never had this kind of a mix at one of our parties before. So it just made me excited about the fact that even in my 50s, I'm still meeting new people and enjoying that and making new friends. And it's just never too late to do that. So don't shy away, or don't hesitate to continue to build relationships, just like we've been talking a lot about tonight. Because to me, that's what makes me tick. That's my love language, I guess, is being able to build relationship and make connections with people. And we're never too old.
Yeah, for sure. We forgive you for not being invited to the St. Patrick's Day party, but
21 years, right?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, and open that door.
Yeah, for sure. But no, I agree. There's so much to learn in life, and so many people that you have yet to meet, and you just never know when your path would cross with someone that's going to be pretty impactful, right? I always think that you meet people for a reason in a season. There are people in your life that are not meant to be in your life for the entirety, but there's a reason why, or a season for that person. So I appreciate you sharing that. And, I'll try to seek opportunities to be more open to meeting new people, because sometimes I like to curl up in my safe little box and stay there. But there's no growth in that box. You don't learn in the box. You got to step outside of it. So thank you for sharing that.
Plus, it doesn't elevate as you elevate in whatever you're thinking about doing, whether it's our job, whether it's Toastmasters, whatever we're doing. We're only as good as the people that we have around us. So if we continue to have the same, we get stale. You want to stay fresh and renewed. So we got to. Yeah.
I like that. Great. I like that. I like that analogy.
Great insight. Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. All right, Michael, what about you? What have you learned?
All right. So a couple of weeks back, I want to stay on the same relationship theme that we're on right now. And so a couple of weeks back, I was down in Orlando, Florida, attending the International Maxwell Conference. And I had an opportunity to hear John Maxwell speak about his new book. So he's got a book, this book right here. I guess you can't see it. So this book here, High Road Leadership, is coming out in May. And we were able to get advanced copies of it. And I just want to read so there's a section in here where John says, how we see people is how we treat people. And he goes on to talk about some steps on how to place people first. And so it fits really great with what we're covered here today. So number one is develop empathy intentionally. So Matt talked about, empathy several times while he was here. So John says you need to develop empathy intentionally. So be very intentional about that. And the second recommendation he has is make time for people daily. So he's big on that, and he covers a lot of details about that. But those are just some, I was going to talk about something different, but then when Matt started talking, that brought back what I had read in this book about the importance of really just, making time for people daily and creating those relationships like Scott talked about. Because I know for me, a lot of the success that I continue to have in my life is based on the relationships that I've made inside of Toastmasters and outside of Toastmasters with people all over. So like Scott said, continue to make new friends. I'm doing that on a regular basis, and it's just opening up doors for me because I'm making time for people. So back to you.
Wow, that's deep.
You and Prime Time are buddies now too, right?
I was getting ready to go there. You big.
That was a quick 1 minute handshake, right?
Doesn't matter. It doesn't
That
matter.
was a great photo op.
Yeah, it was.
Yes, yes.
It was.
He's great. I gained so much respect for him after hearing him talk about his story and his philosophy. I mean, it's awesome.
That's great.
That is awesome. Thank you for sharing that. All right, friends. So we are going to transition
to his mansion for one of his parties.
That'd be nice.
We definitely won't miss that one, will we?
Yeah.
I know, right? All right, friends. So we're going to transition into the news portion of our podcast. I'll turn things over to Michael to head that up.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. So this is all about news that people can use. And we're at a time right now in our Toastmasters season where there's so much news available, right? So there's so many things going on. And so with that, Scott, I'll start off with you. What is some news that you have that the people can use?
Well, imagine that it's conference season, so I'm going to talk about the conference. I was able to serve as the contest master for the multi-area Division B contests, the multi-area Division C contests, and then the Division B and C combined division contest. So I got to serve as contest master 3 times, and I got to see some amazing speakers come out of Division B and C, and I'm just so excited. The 27th, the conference is the 26th through the 28th, but the 27th is going to be an epic day at the District 40 conference. As I got to witness 2 of the contestants that will be in the District 40 conference or contest for the international speech contest. And they were amazing, very compelling, awesome storytelling. It's going to be a lot of fun. So if you're going to be at the conference, or if you're not sure about going to the conference yet, get there, because the speech contest is going to be off the chain. And then also the education sessions. I've gone out and looked at the D40 conference website, and they have all of their speakers listed now. And the sessions they're going to be covering, man, it is going to be an awesome day of education sessions going on Saturday and Sunday. But probably the most important, or the most thing I'm looking forward to, is keynote speaker Connor Cooney, who we got to interview on our last podcast. And that guy, I don't know if I've laughed more in a short 15-minute window than I have like watching a stand-up comedian. That guy is entertaining, and I tell you, he really did encourage and motivate me to look at ways to make my days more positive, to infuse more positivity in my day. And he's going to speak, and I'm looking forward to his keynote too. So it's going to be awesome. So if you haven't signed up yet, if you haven't registered for the conference, get out there and do it. It's going to be a good time.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You got me excited already, right?
Yep.
That is awesome. So, Bertina, tell us what else is going on. What else is some news that people can use?
If you don't come Friday night to the conference, you're gonna miss it.
You mean don't wait to just Saturday? Don't come just Saturday morning and.
No. Don't just come Saturday morning. I'm telling you, come out at 6 o'clock Friday night. Enjoy a great speech. We're gonna have some goodies going along. I don't want to give it all away because I want you to come. I want you to be engaged. Kick you off to a grand celebration, but we're gonna have a ball. We've got some sing-alongs, we got some karaoke, we got some music, we got some food, and the food is free. There's a huge bar. The food is free, and we got some goodies for you. So come out and join us at the conference, and you will have a wonderful, wonderful time. Promise.
All right, thank you. So you hear that, everybody? Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So you want to come all days of the conference. Althea, what kind of news do you have for us?
Well, thank you, Michael. My news is that, as you guys know, we are in the, election cycle, if you will, for our district, where we get to vote or appoint new leaders for the coming program year. So I'm here today to share with you that our district will be hosting a candidate showcase or a candidate a showcase spotlight on the Thursday right before the conference begins on that Friday the 26th. So it's going to be Thursday, April 25th. And the showcase will give members within our district the opportunity to hear from the district executive committee candidates for the 2024-2025 program year. And just to tell you who those individuals are, in the newsletter that was, I think, shared today, they have the list of all of the candidates that are vying or running for the different positions within our districts. I want to go through those really quickly. For district director, we have Wendy Simmons. For program quality director, Tracy Baker. For club growth director, Renee Mitchell and Dr. Jung Jing. Division A director, Betsy Urban. Division B, division director, Lamar King. Division C, division director, Greg Ramsey. We're still looking for volunteers for Division D, and Division E is Judy Smith. So those are the individuals or the candidates that are vying for these positions of leadership within our district for the next program year. So again, the candidate spotlight will be on Thursday, April 25th. The event is going to be held virtually. So if you got the newsletter today in your email, there is a link that you would click to register to be able to receive the Zoom link to attend the candidate showcase. Again, Thursday, April 25th, and it begins at 7:00 p.m. Eastern Standard. Again, it's virtual. So for those of you that would like to come and hear from the individuals that are running for these positions, great opportunity for you to learn more about these leaders in our district. Please join us and attend. You will enjoy it. So back over to you, Michael.
All right, fantastic. Thank you, Althea. Thank you so much for that. I'm looking forward to that showcase, and so we got some great leaders coming in. And so for my news, I want to pick up on what Scott was talking about here, and I want to show you all some of the speakers that are going to be part of our education breakout. So Scott kind of mentioned it a little bit. Of course, we've got our keynote speakers here, Connor and Darren, Connor Coonan, Darren LaCroix. They're going to do some amazing keynotes. Connor is on Saturday, Darren is on Sunday. So in addition to that, Darren is going to be doing a breakout on Sunday. Connor's doing a breakout on Saturday, in addition to their keynote. And then we have other wonderful speakers coming in. Megan Hurley is actually flying in from California because she wants to speak at District 40. She's been a member of District 40 for a while and wants to come here and share with the group.
Awesome.
Hey, Fittis, Lauren is going to be giving a couple speeches. Dr. Crystal, Layla, Patrick, I'm giving a keynote. Tracy Baker, Mike Davis, Kelly, Ty Banks.
Wow.
Noel Ellis, Sandra Orland. So we've got a great lineup for you all. It's going to be an amazing event. Definitely be there at the conference. Back to you, Althea.
And
well, thank you so much.
Than last time I was out there.
I know. They're adding more presenters. That's pretty awesome.
Yes.
All right. All right. So we are going to transition into the evaluation portion of our podcast. And with that, I'll turn things over to Scott.
Awesome. We like to call this in my home club, City of Columbus Toastmasters. My mentor, Liz Reed, used to love to call the evaluation portion where the real magic happens in Toastmasters. So at the end of each of our podcasts, we like to show a video, and then we'll get 3 evaluations done right here on the spot after the video. So if Althea, you could share your screen and play that video link I sent you.
Yes, sir. Give me just 1 second. Let me get to share it. Yeah.
It's just over 5 minutes, and then we'll have some evaluations afterwards.
All righty. Here we go, friends. I'll get this shared. Give me 1 second.
You got it? Hit play.
Oh, is it?
You didn't
Hold on, friends. We gotta love technology, my friends. Hold on one second. Okay. Are you guys able to hear anything?
No,
No hearing.
nor see anything either.
Yeah, you're. It's
Don't
not
hear
scary.
anything, don't see anything. All right, Florence, let's try this again here.
Did you say Florence?
Friends, friends.
Friends. I was like, you call yourself Florence? What's that all about?
I mean, sure, she's my alter ego. Okay, it says that my screen sharing is paused. I'm not sure why. It shouldn't be paused. I should be able to share it. All right. So if someone else would mind trying to share, I apologize.
I was learning on the fly. And that's what Toastmasters is all about.
It's working
Not letting
out.
me do
It was good.
It was working?
Yes.
Oh, Lord.
You need me to share?
Go for it, Michael. You know me, you guys. I try with this technology, but I don't
In the
always
chat.
succeed.
The link is in the chat.
Yes, the link is in the chat.
Uh-huh.
Oh, sorry.
I don't hear anything.
Anything like that, or even thought that
There
I would
we
be in
go.
a position to do that. So you want to talk about learning? I was learning on the fly. And that's what Toastmasters is all about. That's what this is so special. I would have never been in that position if it wasn't for this club. Next, E. Enthusiasm. I know you guys probably thought I wasn't going to talk about enthusiasm tonight. I was going to talk about something about leadership. But E stands for enthusiasm. As a leader, you have to be enthusiastic. Because enthusiasm creates excitement in yourself and in those around you that want to follow you, that want to buy into your vision. You start to feel that excitement from your enthusiasm. And what does that do? It makes you more effective as a leader. It makes your team more productive as a team. Always be enthusiastic when you're in a leadership position. It makes all the difference in the world. And this is me being enthusiastic at the Friday Night Fun Night at the District 40 conference. I was doing a lip sync to the Bee Gees' Staying Alive right there with my dad's tux on from 1968. A, add value. Whatever you do as a leader, don't get complacent. Always be adding value to those around you. Service. Tonight's theme is servant leadership. Always be serving those people that you're leading. I had the opportunity to do an education session at our conference, 45-minute session, and I had over 100 people in the room listening to me talk about my passion. It was amazing. And the feeling that I got walking away from there, adding value to these people's lives that took an hour out of their day and out of their weekend with so much other stuff going on, to be able to present them with something that adds value to them in their journey, it was a tremendous feeling. And last, D. Look at our fine folks up there working at the registration table. You got Kara, you got Carla, you got Terry. All of these ladies are brand new to Toastmasters. But when Anne asked them if they could help her out at the registration table, what'd they do? They raised their hand, they jumped at the opportunity, they did it. And how was it? How was the experience?
It was great.
Awesome, right? Amazing experience. I want to encourage all of you in this room to do just that. Raise your hand. Just do it. When you have an opportunity to put yourself in a leadership role or to try something new with this club, or especially outside of this club, do it. You will not believe the impact and the growth that it will give you. I've seen Gene Bailey, Liz Reed, David Hill, and Ricky. These people have taken that step forward, raised their hand, put themselves out there, and they have gotten so much in return. I want to close with this. I did a lot of stuff at this conference for District 40 Toastmasters, but on the very last day, I was sitting in the evaluation contest, and somebody said, "We need a sergeant at arms to work the door, make sure nobody comes in." So I jumped and ran over and made sure that the door was closed and nobody interrupted the contest. And after the contest, a young man came up to me and he said, "You know what, Scott? I've seen you running all over the place all weekend. And when somebody asked for something, you just jumped, you didn't even think about it. I said, you are a true example of what servant leadership is." And I gotta tell you, I was the king of Friday night fun night. Amazing experience. I did a 45-minute educational workshop. I also was I was the sergeant at arms for the dinner. Got to introduce the president-elect and all of the dignitaries there. But nothing meant more to me throughout that whole weekend than to have that person recognize me and say that I was a servant leader. I want to challenge you to do the same thing. In 2 weeks, we're going to have officer elections. I want you to be thinking about, what can I do to help this club? Can I take on an officer role? If you don't feel like you're ready, take on an assistant to an officer. Work with them and have them groom you. Maybe this time next year, you'll be ready to take on that role. But just always be doing, regardless of the situation. Thank you.
That guy looked familiar, man.
Yeah, he does.
Is that our very own Scott? Wow.
That was me. That was before I think 2018 was the conference that took place that year that I kept referring to.
Oh.
It was a good year. It was in Columbus. So who'd like to go first? Althea, you're going to go ahead and give an evaluation of that speech?
I can. So it's great that we get to evaluate one of our very own. I always enjoy hearing you speak, Scott. I think that you do a great job of using vocal variety and you use your stage as well. One thing for me that was a bit of a distraction was the clicker. So that'd be part of my only feedback, is that maybe trying to maybe have cue someone to advance your slides, or maybe have a clicker that wasn't as big to where like my eyes just kind of drew into that piece there. But I love the fact that you kind of gave at the end the audience a charge, give them some marching instructions. And I love that. I love hearing a message and then getting instructions on to do an act or to do something following that speech. So great job on that, though.
Bertina.
Well, Scott, I thought you really broke down what leader meant and gave good examples. The ones that stuck out most for me was enthusiasm and being able to add value. And your speech was very good. You had great, you were moved, you used that space that you were in. You were vocal. I really love when you took off running. The one thing that I would probably say maybe work on a little bit was have the audience more engaged. You know, they were engaged because they were right with you, but maybe pose a question, you know, or something like that to the audience. But overall, it was an excellent speech. I wish I had been there, but it was good. Would love to have seen that suit. You wear this
more.
I was saying he probably could wear it to the conference or something.
Oh yeah.
Michael.
All right, Scott. Like Althea mentioned, I love listening to you. You're a great speaker. You take command of the stage right away. You deliver this presentation, no notes. Obviously, you had slides as a guide, as your outline, but you didn't rely on any notes. I love how you backed up all of your points with personal stories or examples, relevant examples from the conference that had just happened. So you were promoting Toastmasters, but also demonstrating servant leadership in your examples, which was really good. A couple opportunities. One would be, like Bertina mentioned about engagement. So one way to add additional engagement is when you showed up the slide that said enthusiasm, you can ask the audience, hey, what is your definition of enthusiasm? And get a few people to kind of chime in on their version of enthusiasm, and then you can give your definition and your example type of thing. So there's some opportunities for that. Let's see. I loved your physical gestures. And then in terms of the clicker, so something that I use a lot is I have a little, if you can see it, I have a little ring clicker. So it fits around my finger. But when I'm speaking, I can do like this. I mean, like, so you really can't tell that I'm holding a clicker because I still have full access on my hands. So that helps as well. But Scott, great job. And thanks for doing one of your speeches. Loved it.
Cool. Thank you. Great stuff, everybody. Thanks for the feedback.
I know. Of course.
Breaking that message out again since we're in officer election season. So.
Yeah, definitely. Great message.
Thanks for the feedback.
You're welcome.
Good stuff.
Yeah. I always love how our episodes tend to really fit well together. And I feel that Matt kind of helped us set the tone of that this evening. So great podcast this evening, everyone. I know we're a couple minutes over, but I want to thank all of our viewers. Let's check out the chat. I see Johnny and Deborah, you're viewing. Thank you guys so much. Looks like Johnny mentioned something in the chat about one of the podcast hosts earning their highest achievement as a distinguished Toastmaster, Miss Althea Latang. That's me. Yes, guys. Yes, I earned my DTM. Yeah, I did it. I finally did it, y'all.
Congratulations.
Finally did it. Finally did it. But thank you guys so much. Yes. So Bertina, we're waiting on you, friend. We're waiting on you, Bertina.
I gotta get they told me I gotta, what is it, area director I have to be?
Right.
Yeah,
opportunities. All right.
Yes, we do.
Yes,
we do. But no, seriously, thank you guys so much. Like, I believe it was Matt that mentioned it does take a village. We don't get to these accomplishments on our own. It really takes all of us learning together, helping each other, supporting, encouraging, mentoring. So for all of the members within District 40 that have been instrumental in helping me achieve this milestone, I greatly thank you guys for all of that. I would not have been able to earn my DTM without your encouragement and your mentorship. So I appreciate all of you. So if no one else has any final words, I would just want to wish everyone a great evening. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I want to let you know next month, your district podcast team will be streaming live from the district conference on Friday, April 26th. We have some great guests that we'll be announcing here shortly. They'll be joining us for the episode. So we're looking forward to having people in person or streaming live to check it out. But we'll see you guys next month at the district conference. And with that, we'll bid you all a farewell. Have a great evening, and we'll see you next month.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.
Have you stopped recording? I guess we're leaving. Okay.
Hold on, I think.
Oh, you're still recording though.
There it is. Just stopped it.
I was gonna pose a question, but even though I know we're gonna run, you said we're gonna do the podcast from the conference. We'll be taping that also, will we not?
Yeah.
And what I'm thinking is, just in case for some people who maybe don't come from the conference, we can still just put it up on the YouTube site and
Yeah,
run it on.
I believe we are still going to live stream the episode. So it'll still be the same format as we do every month.
Cool. Excellent.
Yep.
Excellent. Well,
Awesome.
great.
Well, thank you so much.
One last thing, and then I'm gonna let you go. But
Yeah.
so we gel so well together. It's like we just know each other thinking without even talking to each other. Everything that we talk about it just gels. It just
It
fits.
does. Yeah. It's
And
just
we don't
crazy
even,
how that happens. Yeah, it's crazy how like we don't talk about it ahead of time. It just happens, right?
every month it's been like that, consistent every month. It's just sweet.
It
All
blows
right,
my mind. Yeah, but I agree.
yeah, I does. All right, have a great weekend.